Well, now we live in an era where we're beginning to find there's a better way, and we're beginning to find that the better way yields not only greater performance, but greater results and happier people. And that's the era of engagement.
Welcome to another edition of $4 Million Strategies. This is your host, Carl J. Cox. Today, I have Jim Huling, author of The 4 Disciplines of Execution. And today our subject is employee engagement. Jim, what is the best things that we could do to help make sure we have incredible employee engagement at our organization?
Carl, thank you. I'm so energized that you asked this question, because I grew up as a leader in a time when the subject of engagement never even came up. I can't imagine saying to my first boss, hey, I'm not all that engaged. It would not have been perceived as their problem. It would have been my problem. And so in that era, the whole system of leadership relied on the power of authority. You were the boss. And so if my boss told me to do something, I only had two choices. I either do it or find another place to work. It was all based on authority, sort of with an undercurrent of fear that there would be consequences if you didn't comply. The highest level you ever get from that style of leadership is compliance. People will do exactly what you tell them to do. But the problem is that's all they'll do. They'll stop right there because that's what you said to do, right? Well, now we live in an era where we're beginning to find there's a better way. And we're beginning to find that the better way yields not only greater performance, but greater results and happier people. And that's the era of engagement, which simply says we go beyond compliance all the way to commitment. If we can involve people in what we're doing, if we can give them a voice, if we can ask their opinion, if we can have, I'm not saying put everything to a vote, but let's let everybody weigh in if they've got a thought to share about what we're doing and if there's a better way. The more involvement you give people, the more committed they are. So with involvement comes commitment, and with commitment comes this higher level of performance that now isn't based on the threat of consequences. It's based on the promise of doing something that matters and doing it together. Even no matter what we're going through in today's world, you can create a team that is engaged and involved by simply giving them a sense of ownership around what we're doing, as opposed to being the people who carry out your directives. The job I don't want is to only do what you tell me to do. That's the least interesting job in America, right? But what I do want is to be part of something where my voice matters, your voice matters. We all put our thoughts together. And then when it's time to do it, we say, well, we did this. We decided this. We built this strategy together. When you have that, you feel like you're part of something, then you really celebrate every accomplishment. And it leads to the kind of results we want, but it also leads to the ability to attract and retain these incredibly talented people that every single business in the world is reliant on.
So Jim, what is in your opinion, the best way to measure employee engagement?
Well, for a long time, we've had a lot of reliance on surveys. and I think surveys are a valuable tool, but I think surveys are like looking through a keyhole. All you can see is what that little opening will allow you to see. I'm not taking anything away from them. I use them myself. But I think we overemphasize their value. For example, if we say to a leader, hey, your surveys are not good, we're going to have to put you on probation. It's like the single worst tool for the single worst outcome. But if we go beyond that, if we use the survey as a way to have a human-to-human connection to the people who are involved and ask them how something's going or how it's done or what they think, but do it in a way that they are safe to answer, then we get two things. One, we get brilliant insight. It's been said before that the people closest to the work have the most clarity about how the work should be done. I still think there's great truth in that. But more importantly than that, we instill in every single individual this idea that they're important, that they matter, their opinion matters. And the more we do that, the more we have people who say, this is the kind of place I want to be. And they tell their friends and they write on the digital boards and they actually recruit for you so that you not only attract talented people, but you do the harder thing, which is to retain talented people. You do that through loyalty, respect, instilling a sense of value. All of that adds up to engagement.
Jim, thank you so much for your answer on how to create great employee engagement